I'm going to unshare my picture and my voice. I'm just watching. But I'm going to send you an email just to test during the thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and hopefully get started. Before we turn it over to the chair, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of an explanation of this new and unique format we have. My name is Jordan Clark. I'm the Development Services Director for the City of Maryville. And this is the live stream for the April 13th meeting of the Maryville Historic Zoning Commission. In accordance with Executive Order Number 16, issued by Governor Lee on March 20th, 2020, we are conducting this meeting electronically with members being present and voting electronically as a result. If any member of the public has a public comment, they can go to maryvillegov.com/meetings and fill out the contact form, and that comment will be sent on to city staff. If anybody is watching the YouTube live stream, also please be aware that there is about a 30-second delay. So we'll try to get to the comments if we're able. If not, then we'll respond to those within 24 hours of the meeting. The meeting will also be available to watch as a recording on the city's website within 2 business days of the conclusion of the meeting. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Sarah Shepard, who is the chair of the Historic Zoning Commission.
All right. Well, we will start by calling this unusual April 13th meeting of the Historic Zoning Commission to order. And let's see, Jordan, do you want me to do this original motion before the roll call or after?
After the roll call.
Okay,
please.
will you call the roll, please, then?
Yeah. Adam Walbacher.
Here.
Chris Hackler. Dan Monett. Gary Best. Are you here, Gary?
Yes.
Okay. Sue Wyatt.
Here.
Here. Michael Hofer. And Sarah Shepard.
Here.
We have a quorum. I see Dan as a participant, but it doesn't look like he has audio or video. We can continue with the current quorum, Sarah,
Okay.
and we'll try to get Dan online.
Okay, I would like to just state that this meeting is being conducted electronically in order to protect the public health, safety, and welfare in light of the ongoing coronavirus situation, and would like to entertain a motion to have that put into our record.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Gary's trying a second. Second.
Will you call the roll, please, Jordan?
All right. Adam Walbacher.
Yes.
Gary Best.
Yes.
Sue Wyatt.
Yes.
Sarah Shepard.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. If you have not had a chance to review the minutes yet, please do so. And we will also entertain a motion to accept those.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please, Jordan.
Adam Walbacher.
Yes.
Gary Best.
Yes.
Sue Wyatt.
Yes.
Sarah Shepard.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. We will start with our applications. Kelly, will you get us going, please?
Yes. I just got an email from Dan. Well, also Angie, if you're listening, I got your email, so that's working. And then I just got an email from Dan saying he's been having internet issues all day, so that if he's not needed for a quorum, he will log off. Okay, can everybody see the screen that is the cover that says Historic Zoning Commission, April 13?
No.
Yes.
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 Okay, can you see the first slide, which is an aerial of the first item?
Yes.
Yes. Sarah, you cannot?
I can't. I clicked on something accidentally before, I think, because what I'm seeing is whoever's talking.
Okay, so
Working. Let me
that's
try
going to be your view.
Oh, wait, there we go. There we go.
Got
There.
it?
All right.
Okay, so the first item on the agenda is for the property located at 1115 Oak Park Avenue. You all will remember this from last month's meeting. Just as a little refresher, the applicant is starting replacing some windows on this side elevation, as you can see where my cursor is, without HCC review and approval. We let him know that that was required, and the applicant stopped immediately. He had replaced 3 of the windows, as you can see the arrows indicating here on the side elevation. And there are 3 that remain on the side elevation here, here, and here that the applicant would like to complete the installation and finish. And then also when we went to the site, we had a conversation with the applicant and discovered that the front windows were also replaced some time ago, but nonetheless without the HZC review and approval. And so the applicant would like to retain those windows. The original windows are 8/8 double hung windows. The replacement windows are currently 1/1. The applicant, as was the case at the last meeting, is willing to install 8/8 grid to the exterior of the window in order to retain the original light configuration. At the last meeting, there was a lot of discussion about the profile and detail of the original muttons and the proposed muttons. As you can see in this image here, this is a kind of zoomed in photograph of the original windows. And then this is just kind of a crude little drawing to show you what you're really looking at in a section view. So this profile that has this sort of Georgian detail is the mutton that's on the inside of the window. So then here's the glass, and what you have on the exterior is this very simple wood member with just some glazing to keep the glass in place, basically. So Gary and I were talking about this, it's kind of atypical. Usually you have sort of more ornate detail on the exterior and then the simpler on the interior. But in this case, we have a very simple exterior mutton on the exterior. So that sort of answers that question that came up at the last meeting. Also, the applicant has gotten some more information from the manufacturer about what the replacement muttons would look like. And as I said before, they'll be in 8/8 configuration. They'll be 1 inch wide with a raised contour to simulate wood muttons. At the last meeting, we discussed, that there are a couple different things that the regulations require in terms of replacement windows. The first is, again, maintaining that 8/8 configuration. And the second is, this is on page 8 of your staff report, that the dimension of exterior muttons shall have a profile and depth that matches older window muttons, and replacement windows with exterior muttons shall not have a shallow or flat profile. So given that the proposed muttons will have a raised contour, as is the testimony of the applicant and the manufacturer, and the simplicity of the original exterior muttons, we feel like this proposal meets the requirements of the ordinance. I know the applicant is here. I did see him join the meeting. If you have any specific questions.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Does anybody have any questions about this new proposed window situation?
Just to clarify, so we're looking at or proposing to add the muttons, 8/8 muttons to all of the new windows?
That's correct.
That's on the front facade as well as the side?
That's correct.
Okay.
Anybody else? Gary, you have anything to say here? Or have you already had your say?
I'm good. My say was last meeting, and so this is the follow up. And Kelly and I've been talking about this, and it's funny because what you see as the mullion, you would think it would be just flipped, and the more ornate mutton would be on the outside, simpler one on the inside, but this is not the case. So we can't already make them do something that that wasn't the way it was done. So
Right.
I'm okay with this.
Okay.
And am I right that these will be somehow adhered to the window? There'll be a permanent addition. Is that right, Kelly?
That's correct. The snap-on style that are easily interchangeable are not permitted, and we've discussed that with the applicant, that they will be permanently affixed. Rod, correct me if I'm wrong with that.
No, that's my understanding from the company. And the company would actually come and install that for me. That wouldn't be something that I would do.
Well, I'm move that we approve the amended request.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, call the roll, please, Jordan.
Adam Walbacher,
Yes.
Gary Best,
Yes.
Sue Wyatt,
Yes.
Sarah Shepherd.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay. Item number 2, Kelly.
Item number 2 is for a property at 205 Willard. This is in the Oak Park Historic District. Here is an image of the front of the building and of the rear. The applicant is proposing, sorry, let me just situate you in the site a little bit. As you can see, this is a through lot, so it has frontage on Willard as well as Best. It is a very deep lot. I believe it's 300 feet deep. And the house is situated, very close to the Willard Street side, or relatively close to the Willard Street side. These are images of the rear. So this image is from the rear property line that abuts Best Street, looking toward the house. You can see how screened it is with vegetation. And then this is from the rear of the house looking toward that Best Avenue property line. So there's also very dense vegetation along that property line as well, just to kind of orient you. And then this is looking at the rear of the house, and this is looking at the facade. The applicant is proposing a 2-car detached garage behind the existing house. The siding is to be a white hardy board siding. The asphalt shingles are to match the existing shingles. And then this little overhang feature is to match or to emulate the one that you see here. That's also a better zoomed in image on page 16 of your staff report. And it will sit about 30 feet behind the house at the end of the existing driveway. In terms of massing and siding, in your staff report on page 17, there's a little analysis of the area and setbacks of the proposed structure, and a little inventory of similarly situated structures within the vicinity. And this proposed structure is well within the range of consistent, and it is, in fact, in a lot of cases, less obtrusive than many of the other structures on that same street. And in terms of the appropriateness for the site and the district, as mentioned, the building is simple yet responsive to the architectural vocabulary of the principal structure, and it is compatible but clearly distinguishable as our regulations require. Just as a note, the applicant emailed me today just to make sure that there was no confusion about where the structure is to be sited, and there was actually, I wasn't 100% certain. In your analysis on page 17 of your staff report, I noted that it would have about a 24-foot side setback. I was thinking that it was going to be situated right here, directly behind the house, but the applicant clarified today that it will actually be at the end of the driveway. So not situated behind the house, but about 30 feet behind the house and at the end of the driveway. Even considering that, it's well within the range of appropriate side setbacks in the analysis that we did looking at other structures on this block. So just to add that note, and the applicants are here, I can see them if y'all have any questions for them.
Kelly, if on page 15 of the packet where you show the building mass map.
Right. Yes.
So are we saying that if you were to draw that in,
Yes.
would it be closer than the small building on the property to the right of it? Does that make sense?
Right. I believe that one was only 3 feet. It would need to be a 5-foot minimum for
closer to the house.
Right. Right. So it would not be that close to property lines, but perhaps the Griffiths could comment on the exact distance from the side property line that it will be. It would need to be for our codes department to approve it, it would need to be at least 5 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, we were thinking at least 6.5 feet or 7 feet from the property line.
Okay, and let's see, that'll be towards the left as we're looking at that map, right?
If you're looking at the location map on the first page, Sarah.
Oh no, to the right.
To the right, exactly.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to got this picture here and that picture there and this map here. So okay, so to the right then. Okay. So that's
so Sarah, are you talking about the picture on page 15?
Yes.
That has all the little all the properties kind of as little blue squares or rectangles.
Yeah. So over to the left, I mean to the right of that plot and closer to the house, then on the lot next to it has its building, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But it looks like it's still going to be fairly well camouflaged from landscaping, at least in the spring and summer, huh? Okay. Does anybody have any questions or?
Yeah, I'm looking on page 19, the first photograph of the front of the house. And if I'm understanding that you can see 2 cars parked to the left,
right.
Is that the rough location of the garage where those 2 cars are sitting?
Let me share my screen so I think that so that everyone can see what you're referring to. Can everybody see the packet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm on page 16 or 19, page 19, the first photograph.
I believe she's referring to these 2 cars here. Is this the approximate location?
Yeah.
Okay. So it would be visible from the street to a certain degree. And so my one question is, would it be better to ask that the pitch of the roof more closely model the pitch of those front gables of the house?
That was going to be my comment. The roof pitches don't match. Also, the umbrella that's expressed on the new garage addition doesn't exist on the existing house.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you say. That is going to be on the garage that doesn't exist on the existing house.
Correct.
You're
noted an eyebrow across the front of the garage.
Right.
And that doesn't exist on the house, the present house.
Well, if you look closely, it isn't pronounced, but there is one on each end of the house.
Okay. We can't see those.
The gable over the front door extends beyond that eyelash, but there is, I would say, that's what I would call it. Maybe I'm mistaken, but on each end of the house, it appears to me that there is a slight eyelash over the gabled roof part. And am I misunderstanding your concern?
The the feature of the garage is to be architecturally similar to the house.
Mhm.
The roof eyebrow that you have across the gable end doesn't exist on your house.
Across the gabled end. I'm not sure.
If you look at the front elevation of your sketch,
Mhm.
Mhm.
over the garage doors, a 2-foot eyebrow, which is a roof that would extend across that.
Oh, you're talking about that. Yeah, I didn't know what you meant by the eyebrow.
Okay.
2-foot eyebrow.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist on your house.
Well, I guess that was just on there to shield a little bit the entranceway into the garage.
Into the garage.
But I mean, I guess it's flexible from our standpoint if you feel like that's not consistent with the house.
Yeah, it's not.
I misunderstood. I thought he was talking about the picture of the
The
roof.
fascia, I think, is what you were referring to, but he's talking about this part right here.
Yeah.
And you've got
The eave of the
original
roof
piece-
itself should give you that little bit of protection as well.
well, but that's an architectural feature, the eyebrow,
Right,
and it's not on your present house.
right.
And I would question the roof pitches don't match either.
You think it should be a higher, more, what's the right term here? A higher angle?
Yeah,
Just
steeper pitch, closer to the two gables on the front of the house.
I've got the contractor on the phone here. Let me just ask David, is that a problem to make that pitch steeper on the garage from your standpoint?
We can match the house exactly.
Yeah. Okay, David, our contractor says, yeah, we can match that pitch exactly.
yeah,
Okay.
that would be my recommendations, that the roof pitches match and that there's not an eyebrow.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds all right to us.
Okay, would you like to make that? Well, I'm sorry, are there any other questions? If not, would you be willing to make that motion, Gary?
Yes, I was just waiting to see if anybody else had a comment. I make that as a motion that we approve it contingent on the roof pitches matching and the eyebrow that's labeled on their front elevation is not included.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, call the roll, please, Jordan.
Adam Walbacher,
Yes.
Gary Best,
Yes.
Sue Wyatt,
yes.
Sarah Shepherd,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right.
Thank you for your time, and we appreciate this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Y'all.
All right, we'll just log off.
All right. And Kelly, number 3 then, please.
Okay. Item 3 is for property located at 1122 West Broadway. The application is for the installation of a 10 by 20 composite deck at the front elevation and the installation of a PVC picket fence around this deck. You can see a sketch here, and also see if I can pull up the page number in your packet. Sorry, I'm working
27.
computers. Thank you. 27 in your packet. This was begun without a permit. Here's a image of the amount of work that was done at the time that our codes enforcement people stopped the work. So in terms of what the ordinance says about this, the ordinance is pretty silent with regards to decking of this type. The ordinance does have very specific requirements for fencing, specifically that chain link, vinyl, and similar materials are prohibited. It does not specifically call out PVC, but the staff believes that PVC would probably be considered a similar material and so therefore not permitted.
The V in PVC is vinyl.
Right, right. The other thing that we just wanted to point out is that this is really starting to take on the visual impact of a porch and not so much a deck. So, you know, the ordinance is very explicit in that porches should not be added where they did not originally exist. And, the staff has some concerns that a porch is, historically inaccurate for this house. One, because it never existed, and this type of house did not, typically feature a porch. And two, that it would obscure one of the nice defining characteristics of this house, which is this exterior chimney here. But, it's really sort of up to the commission to determine if this is to be treated as a deck or a porch. And the regulations that apply therefore. So I believe that the applicant is here, Mr. Greer. Yes. So if y'all have questions for us or him, we're happy to answer.
Anybody have a question?
Okay, so my chime in. I'm kind of like with Kelly. I think this begins to be front porchish, which obviously is not allowable. I know it would be nice to have that, but kind of not in character. I would, and this is an aside, I would question where the bay windows come from, because they look relatively new too. So I don't know if that was done. We don't really have a picture before that, but that was the question.
Yeah, I noticed that with the windows, but the difference between a porch and a deck, to me, I don't, a historic house from any of these timeframes would be covered. And from what I can tell with a quick search online, the only difference in the definition is whether it's covered or not covered. Yeah. And that would not be something that would exist on a house from these eras. Any of these eras, an uncovered, deck out front.
Yeah.
So it does not seem appropriate for for the neighborhood on a house of this age.
So I'm understanding you to be saying that no sort of porch or terrace would be seen on this style of house. Is that correct?
Not typically.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And it certainly does not appear that there was ever one on this house originally.
No, it doesn't.
Are there any other questions or comments?
So is the proposal, just to, again, to clarify, the proposal is to allow the construction of a sort of raised deck across the front facade, as well as a fence, a PVC sort of picketed fence around to enclose part of the front?
To enclose the deck, I believe.
Is it just the deck? I'm trying to find the picture.
Page 27 would be your best drawing. Yeah. Yeah,
would that. So by the front door, all around to the curved angled driveway and the deck itself. Is that right? So the front door would also be enclosed with this fence?
That's how it looks on the drawing.
Yeah.
Kelly, do we have the owner online?
We do. I've unmuted him, but Mr. Greer, if you have somewhere that shows a little microphone on your screen, it may have an X through it. And if you could unmute yourself, that way we can hear you. And you can also, if that doesn't work, you can also do a chat. Looks like you've turned off your video. So you're in the ballpark. It should be in that same area. Wherever you turned off your video, there should also be a little microphone. I know with the iPad, it's a little bit different setup. Jordan, I know you're on an iPad. Do you know where those controls are?
Yeah,
Lower left.
yeah, I've got a microphone at the top of my screen on an iPad.
Oops. Well, my Mac has it on the lower left.
Everyone's different.
It is.
Turn yours over and it'll be on the top right then.
Oh, there's an idea. Or I can stand on my head.
There you go.
It looks to me like you're unmuted on my end, Mr. Greer. So an alternative is if you'd like to type in the chat. Jordan, do you know where the chat is on the iPad view?
There's 3 little dots in the top right. If you tap that, there should be a chat icon pop up. So Kelly, is there a phone number he could call in and it would play that audio?
Yeah, it will be in the email that was sent. Let me see if I can.
I'll be able to get there quicker.
Yeah. So Mr. Greer, if you can take down this number. Ah, sorry, that's not right.
Okay, I think it's 646 876 9923. 646 876 9923.
I'm also going to send you a chat, Mr. Greer, to see if you can access it that way. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Yes.
Yay! Sorry about that. I'm 70. I'm not a technological person.
That's okay. We've got you now.
Many of us are quickly becoming one, aren't we?
There you go.
Mr. Greer, I believe the question was, is the fence going to include the front door inside the fenced in
Yes,
area?
yes. The way the drawing is, it's showing decking going up to the front porch, but actually that was changed to a flagstone walkway and then a step up to the sitting area up above. But they have dogs and they wanted the ability to let their dogs out the front porch and have them not run down the road.
Okay. Well, I think as far as the fence is concerned, there's really not even any leeway there. That type of a fence is certainly not allowed within our regulations.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in looking about 2 houses down on the opposite side of the road, they have a PVC fence that's white that I've already looked at. I don't know if they were grandfathered in.
It might have been installed before our commission came to be.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I believe I don't have the chapter number or whatever it is for what the fencing regulations are off the top of my head. Let me see here, but it is actually.
What if it was wooden?
Wood is permissible, and also coated aluminum.
Okay.
Permissible.
All right. On the deck itself, if we replaced that with an entire flagstone area for them to put seating out of in the front, would that be permissible?
That would be flat on the
And
ground?
it would be level with the ground.
I would interpret that as being something that we don't have. That would be landscaping.
Right.
Is that mine? Would that be correct?
That's correct. That's correct. It wouldn't.
So if we went with an all flagstone area and wooden fencing around to permit them to have their dogs in that area, that would be acceptable?
That's something we could consider. Yeah, we would need to see the fence proposal.
It would look very similar. She only wants it to be, 36 inches tall. And I found a PVC fence that matched that height, but I could certainly build one out of wood just as easily. And it would be painted white.
Let's see here. Wood. Looking for the height. Okay, so you're talking about a picket fence like that, similar in style to that?
Yes, picket fence, wooden picket fence. Yeah.
Because
a very simple wooden picket fence.
Solid wall wood plank fences would not be allowed. But
no, this would not be solid. This would be the old-fashioned picket fence.
Yeah, that style is acceptable. It's just that your material there as proposed is not acceptable.
Got it. Okay.
So that would not be considered a wood plank fence?
No. There would be spaces, 4-inch spaces in between each picket.
Okay.
How do the rest of you feel about whether you need to see another proposal for the fence that would be built instead, or are you okay amending this?
I'm okay with it being wood. I mean, it's a drawing. It's the specification is somewhere else, and if we agreed that that's wood, not PVC, I think that's okay. I think if it was flagstone and not raised up where it looks deck or porch like, I think that's more appropriate.
Anybody else?
That sounds like a good way to go to me. And yeah, I don't need to see a rendering if that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
What is the height of the proposed fence?
36 inches.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else as far as that goes?
So what I'm understanding is that we would be looking at permitting a picket fence no more than 3 foot high around the front yard, and then any kind of landscaping, flagstone that goes on inside that fence is up to the owner. Is that right?
Something that is flat at ground level, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Kelly and Jordan, is that as far as the differentiation of how high it is versus flat on the ground, I don't know how that needs to be stated, or do you think that's clear enough?
I think that if it were anything more than a hardscape, then we would bring it back to you all, because that's not within our purview to approve. So, if we're just talking hardscape, then that's something that, doesn't need to be reviewed. So I think that's the distinction.
Okay.
I did just want to point out too there, and I don't know if it is a very pretty picture. It makes you kind of want to hang out in this area, but I just wanted to point out that there is this treatment to the chimney here, and just wanted to clarify that is not there's no intent to cut some of the chimney out or
just something in front of it.
That was actually a piece of wrought iron that was going to be attached with a vine growing up of it on the wrought iron itself, because she likes container plants.
And that's not permanently affixed to the chimney. That's a freestanding.
No, ma'am, no, it's not. It's attached to the planter that would be down below it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. If there's not any more questions, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the proposal contingent on a wood fence and the raised portion of the illustration be lowered to a flagstone at grade patio.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Jordan.
Adam Walbacher,
Yes.
Gary Best,
Yes.
Sue Wyatt,
Yes.
Sarah Shepherd.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So if we had any emails or comments from the public on non-agenda items,
We have not.
okay. Do we have any comments from the board or from the staff?
That wasn't too painful.
No, it wasn't too bad. I had to put up a fake background because my office is so messy behind me.
Well, I didn't have a mask on, so, you know, that was the other part that was pretty important, so.
Funny.
Well, thank you all. I know this was kind of a new experience for us all, and certainly brought on to us by the world around us, but you all did an excellent job. And
Thank you.
thank you to you all, the applicants, and Kelly for really putting this together, and it's very much appreciated.
Well, I was gonna say, you guys put together such a good packet for us each month. You really make it a lot easier for us.
Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
one question just to verify on my
Yeah.
window situation?
Yeah.
Does that give me permission to finish putting in the last 3 windows with this approval?
Yes. Yes. It was to complete the installation and then to retrofit what you've already done.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify.
Thanks.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All
Yes.
right. Well, I don't have a hammer or anything. I thought about going out to the garage and getting one, but I'll bang my Diet Coke on my desk. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Stay safe.
Mhm.